So, the last thing we need to think about with our equivalent fractions is going sort of straight to the answers without going through all of the messing about with food and drawing pictures. So I want to take a minute now to explain to you how you would tackle this if you were just seeing it with numbers on a page. We've got our examples. Remember, we did the pizza, we did the chocolate, this was our raspberries. I've eaten so much today. And now we're going to think about what the relationship between these numbers are. We looked at the first one, 1/2 equals 3/6. And you can convert this by multiplying. So, we know that 3 is 1 times 3. So I'm going to show you that with an arrow like this, times 3. Or, I could go the other way and divide by 3. We also know that 2 times 3 is 6. That relationship is the same. So we times that one by 3 as well, and that takes us from 1/2 to 3/6. We've times the top by 3, we've times the bottom by 3, we've done the same to both numbers. And that gives us a fraction that is equivalent. And this makes sense, doesn't it? We've got our denominator, the bottom part of the fraction, that tells us how many pieces we split the pizza into. If we split it into less pieces, split it into only 2 pieces, those pieces are going to be really big. You're going to need less of them. If you split it into 3 times as many bits, then you're going to need to eat 3 times as many of them to get the same amount of pizza. Let's look at it with this one, because this one goes the other way. To get from 8 to 1, I need to divide by 8. And to get from 24 to 3, I need to divide by 8. Again, as long as you're timesing and dividing by the same number to the top and the bottom, your fraction is going to stay equivalent. Works exactly the same with this one down here. 1/5 is equivalent to 2/10. I know to get from 1 to 2, I need to times 2. And to get from 5 to 10, I need to times by 2. It's the same to the top as to the bottom. Same to the numerator as the denominator. Now, when we look at a fraction like 1/3, it's a bit easier to understand than a fraction like 8/24. It's simpler. So when you take a fraction with bigger numbers and turn it into a fraction with smaller numbers, we call that simplifying. So if I was going to simplify the fraction 10/100ths, I'm looking for a number that I can divide both of these by. So I ask myself, what times table are they both in? And both the numerator, the top number, and the denominator, the bottom number, are in the 10 times table. So I'm going to divide both by 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. And 100 divided by 10 is 10. So that shows me that 1/10 is the same as 10/100ths. I'll show you a few more of these. So, first one I've got up there, we're going to simplify 6/8. We're going to find an equivalent fraction that is more simple. So I'm looking at the 6 and the 8 and I'm thinking, what times table are they both in? And they're both in the 2 times table. So I'm going to divide them both by 2. Divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that tells me that 6/8 is the same as 3/4. 7/14. I'm looking at 7 and 14 and I'm thinking, which times table are they both in? I can see that they're both in the 7 times table. So to simplify it, I'm going to divide them both by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So 7/14 is the same as 1/2. It's equivalent to 1/2. One more example before you get on with this by yourself. 8/12. I'm looking at 8 and looking at 12 and I'm thinking, which times table are they both in? And I can see that they're both in the 4 times table. I hope you got there before me. So I'm going to divide them both by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 8/12 is the same as 2/3. Those fractions are equivalent. Hopefully that gives everything we need to know just now about equivalent fractions and how to simplify fractions. Thank you for staying with me. See you later.